Hello and welcome to Dad Got This, where we answer the tough questions like, can I make a fantastic Swedish meatballs inspired by the Muppets in my Ninja Woodfire? And why did the banana go to the doctor? That second one's easy. It wasn't peeling well. Waka waka. That's right, today's episode is sponsored by RSVLTS and their amazing shirts. Specifically, this Muppets themed shirt. I'm a huge Muppets fan, love dad jokes, Fozzie Bear, and I actually loved watching The Swedish Chef as a kid. It inspired my cooking style, I think. Very controlled, very disciplined, no chaos. So today, we are gonna make the most Swedish of recipes, Swedish meatballs. I don't even know if they're actually Swedish, but I'm going to make Swedish meatballs. I'm gonna do it dad style. First things first, let's set up the Ninja Woodfire, because we're gonna smoke these suckers. Grab your pellet hopper and fill it with your favorite pellets. I'm using smoking pecan pellets. Make sure you fill it to the top. The older models, the igniter's on the top. The newer model, supposedly it's on the side, but it's just a good idea. Fill it all the way to the top. You should not have any lighting issues. And to make sure you don't have any lighting issues, take your pellet hopper and give it the dad shake. The dad shake either compacts the pellets and makes it burn better, separates the pellets and gives it lots of air and makes it burn better, or does absolutely nothing and just makes me feel like it burns better. I still do it every time. Turn this guy on to smoker. We are gonna go to 225. And we are gonna do this for 2 hours. It's probably not gonna take 2 hours to smoke these meatballs, but I always like to just put extra time on there. That way I don't have to add time later. Since we are making Swedish meatballs, let's make some meatballs. Grab yourself a good sized mixing bowl, and to that you're gonna add in a pound of ground beef. My ground beef has been flattened because it was frozen. Probably not the greatest. You really want that nice crumbly texture that I have here on this ground pork, because I just ground it because they didn't have ground pork at my grocery store. A pound of ground pork. And to this bowl, we are gonna add 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 whole egg, 1 cup of seasoned panko breadcrumbs, a tablespoon of granulated garlic, 1 tablespoon of granulated onion. To make it Swedish-ish, dill, 1 teaspoon. And then a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. Now we're gonna take all this with some good gloves and mix it, but not too rough. You wanna kinda keep them loose-ish so they're not tough. You want tender meatballs, not chewy meatballs. Overworking your meatball dough is what's going to give you chewy meatballs. I might be a little bit in trouble because my ground beef was overworked. We're just gonna go ahead and mix all of this in. Break up any big chunks you feel. You're looking to make sure you don't see any patches of seasoning or anything like that. Nicely worked. Grab your air fry basket. I like to spray it with a little bit of Wagyu beef fat. This is gonna help them stop sticking. And now we're gonna make a bunch of mini meatballs. I'm gonna make mine not so mini, but smaller than I would make an Italian meatball, but a little bit bigger than like tiny. I don't like them to be too tiny. I want a little bit of meatball, about that big. Kind of a good sized pinch. Roll them in your hands, not too tight. There you go. You're trying to make these the same size. Looks like I should be able to get about 4 across. All right, we got 2 little extra meatballs that didn't fit in the row. Smoker's ready. Let's go get them on. And now we'll smoke them till they hit 165 Fahrenheit. While we're waiting for that, let's make some gravy. One thing about just about everybody's Swedish meatball recipe that I don't like is there's not enough gravy. I need gravy to pour over my French fries. Oh yeah, we're making some really Swedish air-fried French fries to go with this. IKEA style. Swedish, right? So I'm making a lot of gravy. We're gonna grab a pan and we're gonna put it over medium heat. To that pan, we are gonna add 8 tablespoons or 1 stick of unsalted butter. And we're gonna let that melt. While that is melting, we're gonna take a hefty tablespoon of minced garlic and just kind of let that season the butter. Make sure your heat is low enough that you're not going to burn your garlic. really going for anything too dark. There we go. Noticing some browning on my garlic, so that is good to go. To this, we are going to add a half a cup of all-purpose flour. We are making a roux. If you're using a stainless pan like I am and not a non-stick, make sure you are stirring constantly so that that flour does not stick to the bottom. We're going to cook this for about 2, maybe 3 minutes so all that raw flour is cooked out and we start getting a little bit of a browned color. We're not going for a dark gravy or too dark a gravy. And I always just make sure that I constantly stir. I know the garlic is not traditional. I just love garlic. Okay, that should be good to go. Get yourself a box of beef stock, 32 ounces, about 4 cups. Try not to burn your hands as you pour it in. More whisking and stirring. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce, whatever you want to call it. 2 cups of heavy cream. Make sure you have a hefty sized pot. Stir this bad boy up. And then we're going to raise the heat till it comes to a simmer, and we're going to simmer it until it thickens enough so it can coat the back of a spoon. That's going to vary on how big your pot is, how hot your heat is, a whole bunch of stuff, but I'll let you know how long it takes me. That only took about 5 minutes, and we have what I consider a nice, pourable gravy. I don't want a thick, clumpy gravy. I want it to be pourable. Let's give it a taste. Needs salt. Hit it with about a teaspoon of salt at first. Really low heat. Now we're going to add about 7 ounces of sour cream. This is just going to add an extra creaminess and richness to the gravy. Once again, I should have a bigger pot. And we taste again for seasoning. All right, we're getting there. Probably another teaspoon of salt. The last thing we're going to do is add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is going to really brighten up the flavor of the gravy. One final taste. That's a great gravy. Sucker's done. We're going to set it aside till it's time for meatballs. That did not take very long to get to temp. It only took that amount of time. The meatballs are basically done. They just don't have a really nice color on them. To get some color on them, I'm going to take them out, set them aside, set the unit to broil. We'll pop them back in a little bit, get a little color on them. We'll be good to go. To me, it would be criminal to waste all of these good drippings. What are we going to do with these? Oh yeah, right in there. We're going to give that unit about 5 to 10 minutes to preheat. We really want that 500 degrees. We want it hot, so we got to wait a little bit for it to preheat. After that many minutes under broil, they look pretty good. Nice little crispy little meatball. We're going to take some of our gravy, because we have so much, and nestle these little guys in there. And they're going to go back in the wood fire at about 250 degrees on smoker, just for a few minutes, just to kind of soak up some sauce. If you are super hungry, you can totally skip that step. I was honestly just waiting for my French fries to be done. Now, we're going to grab some Swedish meatballs and plate. They're smoky, they got just the right amount of bite to them. I love that punch of garlic that comes through that you normally don't get with a lot of Swedish meatballs. Fantastic. Plus, French fries dipped in gravy. Oh man, mine got a little soggy because I poured the gravy on it for dramatic effect. Personally, I'd keep my fries crispy and then just dunk them in the gravy. I want to thank Roosevelt's for sponsoring this episode, providing me all these cool shirts. I absolutely love the Muppets. I love Roosevelt's. These shirts are the most comfortable thing ever. It's why I wear them all the time. If you want this recipe, link will be in the description, along with all kinds of other fun stuff. Please, if you are enjoying this content, do the likey subscribe stuff. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. I love it when you leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. If you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. You can get behind the scenes updates, shout outs, producer credits, all kind of fun stuff, even the odd giveaway. With all that out of the way, there's only one question left to answer. Why doesn't Fozzie Bear wear shoes? Because he'd still have bare feet. Waka waka! That's right, Dad may tell horrible dad jokes, cook some fantastic Swedish chef meatballs, but one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This is the part where I thank all of my members. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for your support, and rock on. I don't know why I said rock on, but rock on.